it on right here. It's the switch up, and then we bring this up. Okay. First thing that we have to do, the machine is not home, and we want to home the machine. So we click up, and we do this. And it's this machine, or the cam is going to come up and home itself. So we just wait. Next thing we're going to do, enter for warm-up, press enter here. After it warms up, we're going to bring the gantry towards us, okay?
How long does the warm-up process usually take?
About 10 minutes.
But it's already warmed up?
Yeah, it's already warmed up.
Yeah, you may want to tell them that, too. Well, I'm sure everybody already knows, but just...
Okay. And our first cut is going to be our V-bit, and we're going to do the 60-degree. Here it is. That's going to be our first cut. That's a 1/4-inch shaft, so we're going to use a 1/4-inch, and we're going to grab ourselves a collet. So we want to get in here. Next we're going to bring this all the way down. It's really important that this is cleaned out and there's no dust in here. Okay? Before you put anything in, make sure you blow that out, and blow this out, and there we go. First thing we're going to do is we're going to insert the collet like that. We're going to place it in here, and just until it's not super tight, but just where it kind of stops like that. Now, when we insert the end mill in, we're going to insert it in about 1 inch into the collet, like that, about 1 inch. So right where my finger is, it's about right up to there. I'm going to put it in, I'm going to stick it right into here, okay, and I'm just going to snug that up like that. It's holding. Now I have to tighten it up. We get the wrenches. When you're tightening, put this one on this side of the bar, and it provides support when we're tightening it. And then we put this top one in, okay? What a lot of people do is they crank this way too hard, and it just has to be snug, okay? If this is clean, if the collet is clean, you don't have to crank it. It's just snug. Okay? So I just put it in, and that's it. That's all I got to do. I'm going to bring this up. Okay? Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to position my stock. Move this out of the way. Make sure you don't put this here, put it over here or up there so you don't trip over it. It's really important that you square your job to the table. Now what some people do is they will square it to the spoil board. You can't square your job to the spoil board because it moves. Okay? you have to square your job to the table. And what I do is I use this blue square and I make sure it's flat, snug here. And I lay this flat. I draw a line. I know it's square. And if there are other lines, I'll actually put a date here. I know that that's my line and it's square. So if I come back another day, that's not square. When we look, take a look. This is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. This is the long edge of the table, that's the short edge of the table. So when we come over here, this is x, this is y. When it cuts, it's going to cut like this. Okay? I want to make sure that it's square. Okay? Now I know we have a vacuum table here and it works awesome, but I say always screw it in no matter what. You can't rely on the vacuum table. Next thing what we're going to do is we're going to home it to this corner here. I personally don't like to use the laser because the laser can be off quite a bit, so I eyeball it. And that looks good. That looks good. And what I do, once I have it positioned where I want it to be, I'm going to make that my home. I'm going to click up, home, and save it in position 1. Okay, so that will be home 1. If I click home here and 1, it'll home right there. So no matter where this is, if I move this way over here, so if the gantry is moved and I want it to come back to this home position, I just click home, 1, and it comes right back. The next thing we do is we want to set the surface and the maximum depth. Always set the surface to the center of your stock, okay? Not an edge, but here. First we position it over the sensor, and we're just going to have it bring it down close, and then we're going to press this button here to set the surface. So I press this once, and then I press the 0 for it to auto sense where the surface is, and it will automatically go down. The minute it touches, it'll pop back up. Next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to set the bottom. So I'm going to move this over I'm going to bring it down close. I'm going to press this one here for the maximum depth, and I'm going to hold the 0 down until it touches and it pops back up. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to home it. Okay, everything is set, cut. And what we're going to do now is we're going to load our file. We're going to go to press this button here to go to the network. Okay, and if you just want to go up one at a time, you use these. But if you want to go page faster, you hit the Z, and it'll go up by the page. And then to enter here, okay, I'm going to go up again, and I'm going to go to my folder. And I'm going to go to my test folder. And my first file is 01VBit60. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to hit enter. Okay. And I'm just going to wait for it to load. Sometimes it takes a bit. Sometimes what you have to do is you have to press this a couple of times, and then you'll know when it has to come through the network, and you just have to wait. It'll show up in a minute. There we go. Now I can set this to cut right away, but I strongly recommend that you do a dry run. So when you're here, when it's loaded, you hit number 2, and it says dry run mode, enter to select, and I'm going to press that, and it's going to just do a dry run without actually cutting. This way we can check to make sure that everything is oriented properly. So here we can see it cutting the test, the word test. And there we go. Next, now we're going to do the real thing, and we're going to cut the real thing. So we have to put the vacuum on. Now we're going to cut the real thing. So you press this button twice now. 1, 2. Change the end mill to the 1/4 inch and do the pocket and the profile cut. Turn this over. Now, when you're taking this off, remember when we put it on that side of the bar. When we take it off, put it on this side of the bar so it gives us leverage. And then I don't have to struggle. All I have to do is just put that in there, okay? And it opens up real nice and easy. No struggle. I loosen it a little bit. Take the end mill out. I'm just going to raise this up a little bit. There we go. Again, when we put the end mill in, it goes in about 1 inch. So there's my finger. And I'm going to put it this, like that. I'm going to just gently tighten it so it holds. Okay? To tighten it on this side of the bar, put it like that. kill it is just nice and snug. Now what you're going to see, we don't have to do the home. If I hit home,
one thumb. Just show one thumb.
oh sorry. Okay, it immediately goes to the home. But after I've changed the end mill, I have to set the surface and the max depth again. Again, set the surface at the center. Okay. To set the surface, I press this one, and I hold the 0 down, and it will automatically good. And now I'm going to set the max depth. And I'm going to press this one to set the max depth. And I'm going to hold 0 down, and then open the touches, and pop back up. Okay. I'm going to home it. It's home. I'm going to go back to the network. And my second one is the pocket and the profile. It's going to do both of them at the same time. I'm going to select it, enter, and just wait a few seconds until it pops up. Okay, and we're going to do a dry run. Press number 2, and I'm going to just hit enter. So here it's cutting the pocket. And now it's going to do the profile, cut the piece of wood all the way around. I'm not going to have it go through the whole dry run. I'm going to stop it now. Okay. Okay. And now I'm going to have it cut the real thing. I press this play button twice. 1, 2. tab. And then what we do after we take it up, let's take a look. And you can see that's the test shot, and you can see the tabs and the space in between. And that's all you need to do for your test. And you're done. Alright. Good luck.